Hello, everyone. Here we go. Okay. Hello, Amy Castanha. Hello, Jairo Monteiro. Hello, Rosie. How are you doing? How is it going? How was your day? If you're in Brazil, it's 6 p.m. Hello, Rafael. How are you? YTZ Ja. How are you doing? So today we're chatting with a polyglot, Debbie. And you can follow her at this address here. Her account is LINGUALIBRI. I'm going to ask her to... Oh, she's here. And Debbie, can you... I'm going to try to add you, but usually asks to join. But let's try. Oh, there you are. Okay.
I can set this up so I'm not like...
There you go. It's good to be talking to you. It's the first time we talk, right?
I know it is. I didn't even think that. I feel like we message each other all the time. You know, there's so many people on Instagram that I message all the time, and then I don't even think about.
That's right. Yes, I've been doing these live streams here at Melhore Seu Inglês, right, where we teach English. And it's such a great idea to invite not just teachers. I've been inviting teachers, but language learners, and it's very cool, right? And that's the topic for today. I didn't even pin it here. No, yeah, the topic, language learning. There you go. Debbie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself so we can start? Introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Debbie, and I live in Missouri in the Midwest U.S., and I am from Illinois, but I live in Missouri, and I minored in German in college, but while I was in college, I also took a semester each of Latin and Swahili,
Yes.
And then I took, like after I graduated college, just for fun, I took 2 years of French, and then I was like, well, maybe I should start learning Spanish, so I never really took off with that, but I'm trying now. And now I'm trying to learn, I'm always trying to refresh my German and French, and right now I'm focusing on Icelandic because I'm getting married in September, and that's where we want to go for the honeymoon. So.
That's awesome. I think it's so cool that you decided to learn this language. Let's start with Icelandic. How do you like it so far? I can see that you like it a lot, right? You have fun. I can see in your stories that you have a lot of fun.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about how you practice these languages. I don't know, if you have a routine, a study routine or something like that.
Right now I'm using drops. I'm doing the 90 days of drops challenge. And you just solely Icelandic. Before I was using drops though, I started with Memrise. I have an Icelandic course, but the only problem I'm seeing is that there are some, like I'll see that the word for like 22 looks different on Memrise as it does on drops. So what I really need, I probably should find some more like native speakers to ask questions to, and I think I know where I am.
Is it because of cases?
Is it might because cases, but they don't specify in the app like, oh, this is for this case, you know. So I'm seeing like versions. I
want to ask you something because I'm learning Polish. You know that because I post videos every single day, and Polish is a language that people usually say it's very hard. And after 10 months now that I've been learning Polish, I don't know. I have this feeling it's not that hard. You know, it's possible to learn something. Of course, there are many things that are super hard and difficult, many things to memorize. But I have this feeling that it's possible. Icelandic is a difficult language too. It's what people say, right?
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Is it that Monica?
That's Monica.
Oh, that's Monica, famous Monica.
That's not Monica. Yes.
That's not Monica. Oh, that's so cool. That she's here too.
She is. She speaks with a Russian accent in my head. But anyway, so Yeah, I hear that Icelandic is very hard, and maybe the grammar is very hard. I haven't quite. I've been focusing mainly on vocab recently. I know, like with German, I understand German grammar, but I don't have very much vocab to back that up. So when I do have a conversation in German, I'm going, I don't know what to say because I just don't have a very good vocabulary base. So right now I'm trying to focus on at least vocabulary, so, you know, maybe in Iceland I can at least recognize words, or, you know, try to get a point across. So, so maybe the grammar is very hard, but luckily, since I have some German background, I think it's a lot easier to learn Icelandic because there are words that are very similar.
Okay. I thought it was totally unrelated, but you can find some things in common. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because they're both in the Germanic branch. But
okay.
Like
oh, that's good. It helps. It helps.
Yes.
How do you find material for Icelandic? Because you said that it was a little hard, right, to find, or?
A little bit. It was hard, like figuring out which apps had it. I've mostly started with apps. I would say I haven't looked at it as much lately, just because it's been a busy winter so far. But I need to go back and look at what's it called? Mango. I really love Mango languages.
I remember you mentioned that a while ago. Yeah.
What's nice about that is when you click on a word, they'll like spell it out for you or give you like a breakdown of how to pronounce it, and they'll give you, like, translation, like a literal translation, and like if it's an idiom, they'll tell you what it literally means and what it means as the idiom.
Okay, cool. And how do you feel about the pronunciation? Is it also, does it have anything to do with, you know, is it similar to German in some ways, or no? Are there new sounds? And
sorry.
No, yeah.
There are some new sounds. Not so much that, like, a lot of the sounds are the same as in English, but there's more of certain sounds. The only thing that I think that's very different is like rolled R's, like mother. Like you would like roll that R at the end of the word, which is not what you do in English.
It sounds a little Slavic. This kind of R. Yeah.
Reykjavik, like just like. Which I thought was kind of fun to start learning Spanish at the same time, because they both had rolled R's, and I was like, oh, I can, like, they're so different that using a couple similar sounds.
Yeah, yes. I feel that it can be sometimes a rolled R, like you're saying, but there is, it's nuanced. There are small differences in the way they are pronounced in different languages. So Debbie, Luciana here, she's asking, I couldn't understand what she's studying. Yeah, because this is not a very common, I think it's even less than Polish, right? So can you repeat what language are you focusing on right now? And maybe can you tell us again about the other languages?
Yes, so I'm focusing on Icelandic right now, of the country of Iceland.
I don't know if they know. So I'm going to say in Portuguese. I'm not sure they know. So Icelandic is Islandês in Portuguese. Islandês. Islandês is the language spoken in Islândia. Okay, in Portuguese, Islândia, Iceland. Because this is a country we never hear. Actually, I watched a video recently, and it's amazing. Right? It's an amazing country. But like a place where everything works perfectly well, right? You did some research. What did you find out? Tell us a little bit about Iceland, too.
There are some, I mean, what I know is that they read more books, I think, than anybody in the world.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
I really love that.
Yes, me too.
I know their country was kind of more linguistically isolated, so I know that since they were kind of further away from the rest of Europe, their language didn't change as much.
Okay.
Years, so they could probably read like their epic sagas just because their language didn't go through as much change from other languages.
Ah, okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, Luciana is also saying she's learning Arabic. Are you, Debbie, learning Arabic too? Have you tried Arabic?
I have not. I would like to eventually. Somewhat on the list. I did for the Lang Jam, I think over the summer. Lang Jam, I got Persian. Uses the Arabic alphabet, I think.
Okay.
So
okay, nice.
So if you see something in my my Instagram posts from the summer where you see like Arabic writing or something that's Arabic, it might be Persian. So.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Amy Castanha is asking Mango languages. Yes, right? That's how you spell it, right? M-A-N-G-O, Mango.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. That's the app, okay? And so, Debbie, why do languages attract you? Why do you want to learn, for example, Arabic? Why are you thinking? Why do you have a list of languages you would like to learn? Why do you like learning languages?
I think it's a really great hobby. It connects you with other people. I really enjoy being able to talk to people from different countries. I also love seeing other people get excited about it. I work with a lot of high school girls. I work at a roller rink. And a lot of the staff are in high school. And there's one girl in particular who gets, like, she'll talk to me in German. And I love that. Like, I love, that I can have a mini tiny conversation with somebody, in whatever language they're studying at school. Or, they can come up to me and be like, oh, guess what happened in Spanish class today? And, I learned this today. And so I can ask them questions. And I think it's fun to, like, I think it's fun that I can be excited about languages and then share that with the staff that I work with, and then hopefully that makes them more excited about their class as well and being in school. Yeah. So
this is cool. And what about the, let's say, cultural products like music, and in terms of Icelandic again? Do you practice your reading? How do you practice your reading, your listening? We were talking about resources, so do you listen to podcasts? Are there any podcasts or?
I haven't. I'm still pretty basic level. There is a podcast that is like that teaches Icelandic. It's something like the basic language learning podcast for or I forget what it's called. I'd have to look it up. I can screenshot you later. Or put it in my stories later. But there's one that it teaches you like some basic Icelandic words, such as bless or tak or ég tala smá íslensku. Like, I speak a little Icelandic, just like
nice.
Icelandic. So I did find that podcast. There's a show on Netflix I'm watching. It's called Case, and it takes place in Iceland. It's like a murder. It's about a murder, and then they're trying to figure out who did it and how it happened. And it's very adult rated, so I would not recommend watching it if you have kids around, but
okay.
I don't. So. But if somebody does and wants to watch Case, hide your kids.
Okay. But it's good. You like it.
Yes.
You like the show.
It's a very good show, and I really enjoy listening to the accent. And at one point, I think I even caught myself thinking, you know, if English had more th sounds and more K sounds, it would sound a little like English if I
okay.
was a speaker.
And talking about accents, how do you feel about accents as a language learner? Because you are native English speakers, and everybody else in the world is trying to learn English. And this is a question that I see every single day. There is someone asking this question. Should I, you know, develop or adopt an accent? Should it be American accent, British accent? Should I be, you know, should I care about having an accent or not? Should I, you know, all kinds of questions related to accent. People think about this a lot. They feel somehow, I don't know, they feel weird about it. What do you think? How do you feel as a language learner, right? And as a person who is listening to me, for example, who is not an English, native English speaker. I'm Brazilian. So what do you think?
I mean, for me, learning a language, I think if I'm learning vocabulary, I try to mimic that accent as closely as possible. I feel that if I learn something, hopefully if I can learn something, how to pronounce something correctly the first time, I won't be messing it up. I won't have to correct myself later on.
But you're talking about pronunciation, like
yes.
the correct pronunciation so the other person can understand what you're saying. This is right? The accent would be,
more
for example, you understand. Yeah, I don't have like, you know, it's weird to talk about American accent because if you go to different parts of the US, people will speak in different way, right? You've met people from the South, the Northwest, California, New York, you know, Boston, Florida, and people have different accents, but you understand everyone, right? I was talking about this to EA the other day. And do you feel this way, that depending on the accent, yeah, sometimes you can't understand the other person because of the accent? Because it's the case of Brazil too. We speak Portuguese here, but it's a huge country, and there are different accents, and sometimes I cannot understand the other person. So yeah, I think that's what you're saying, trying to mimic, right?
Yeah, I try to mimic. Or when let me see, I was talking to a couple of native German speakers, I want to say that was over the summer, and I kept asking them, you know, well, one of them kept pointing out, no, you shouldn't pronounce it this way, you should pronounce it this way, and that's a part of the pronunciation, but I was trying to listen to their accent and the differences in their accents as well. That's just something that comes with being in an environment. I don't think you can necessarily learn an accent without being in the environment. I think you could learn a language and get by without being in that place, but I think to really master an accent, you'd probably have to be in that location where a certain accent is spoken. And as far as in the U.S., that's totally right that we have accents all over the place. My hometown is 2 hours away from where I live now, and there's an accent here that we don't have in Springfield.
Oh wow!
Yeah. For example, like the word toilet, my boss says it tarlet.
Really?
Yes.
That
They say 44. They say farty far. That's how they say it in Louis.
I didn't know that. I think it's fun. I think it's fun, and I think I like it. I like it when people have accents. To be honest, I think it's interesting. I think it's more interesting. I think.
I think it's exciting. And the only thing is, I always want to ask, like, oh, where are you from? Like, but I don't want to be rude. That's
yes.
the problem. And I think it's great. I don't, you know, in the U.S. there are a lot of people who think that, like, if you have an accent, you probably shouldn't be in the country. And that's an unfortunate line of thinking in the U.S., and I wish I could change that. But
do you think this? Go ahead.
I think that's like the bravest thing you could have in the U.S. because it means that you're intelligent. You can speak more than one language, especially, you know, if everyone around you can understand what you're trying to, at least understand what you're trying to say, you know.
But do you think this is something that has changed in the past few years, or is it something that is like long-standing? It has always been like that, or do you think that I don't know, it's becoming more, this kind of thought is becoming more pervasive everywhere, like more and more people are starting to think this way. They don't like people speaking with different accents. Do you think that this is something that is contemporary, or do you think this goes back along?
I think
long with
this, I mean, it probably goes back a long way, but I think it's much more prevalent that people speak out about it.
Okay. Okay.
I think it was always there, but people didn't like talk about it or kept their opinion to themselves. And I feel that now there's a much bigger divide between people who say, no, come to the country, you know, if you have something to contribute to your neighborhood or this, you know, to society, you know, go where you want to be. And then there's the people who say, no, America's for Americans, and, you know.
Yeah. This is interesting that people are talking more about this today. I remember I don't follow the news so much these days. I kind of stopped following the news. But I remember that last year I was listening to podcasts, to the New York Times podcast. I used to listen to it every day. And once I heard that in England, they were, some people, especially older people, they were, you know, left and right, they were criticizing people in the street, people who spoke with a different accent or other languages. So, right, there is this story. I don't know how things are today. I don't think they changed, but, you know, they don't like the idea of people speaking other languages in their country. And there is one polyglot, I forgot his name, I don't know if you know him, but he's famous because he left England and he went to live in Barcelona, Spain. Have you heard about this guy?
I haven't. I'm gonna adjust my sound.
I can't remember right now his name. I never remember names. But, you know, he's always been interviewed because of that. Why did he do that? And he said that he doesn't feel comfortable there. I don't know. So I don't know much about it. But, yeah, so, but it's something that we like to do, right? People like to learn languages, and it's a way to connect. And we are living these are interesting times. Yes. I don't know. Debbie, so Luciana is saying that she's been to Iceland. She thinks it's amazing. So you're going there. It was many years ago. It was a trip related to my job. They spoke English all the time. The people there speak English, right?
I think,
in Iceland.
They do.
Yeah. Persian. Persian is spoken in Iran. Arabic's very hard. Yeah, this thing, what do you think of hard languages? Because again, that's how I feel right now about Polish, at least. You know, it's something that if you work on it every day and you do that because you like to post content on your stories and you do that every day, it's very regular, right? You practice every day? Or no, almost every day?
I've added a couple hobbies over the last 6 months, so I haven't made time to sit down and make regular Instagram posts, but I do try to keep up on stories, and I watch everybody else's stories, and I'm always browsing on Instagram. But I don't make as much time to make actual posts. I do try to at least do Duolingo drops, and I've been using Mondly too for Spanish. I'm not crazy about Mondly for Spanish because I feel like it's not very good for, I don't like the way that it's structured, I think, but I've been using it anyway just to give myself some exposure to Spanish. And I've been watching Case in Icelandic.
Someone mentioned here that there is a show called Trapped. Is it another show or is it Trapped? Trapped. Do you know the show?
I don't know the show.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that in Icelandic or is it?
It takes place there. I don't know. Amy Castanha mentioned it here, so I don't know if they think it's the same. No, these are different shows, right? Yeah.
I think they're different shows. I think maybe I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Okay.
And I've mostly been using apps and websites. There is a Facebook group. I'm in a couple different, I'm in a lot of different Facebook language groups at the moment. There's one, Kirsten Cable has one. There's one that is just for learners of Scandinavian languages. And then there's one that's for learning Icelandic. And I'm in that one. And people are always posting different resources. And I know that there's, I think it's built, I don't know if it's the Icelandic government who puts it on, but there is a website where you can learn Icelandic. And I started that course and then I just didn't make time to finish it. But that's also on my to-do list once I get through certain other resources. I try not to use too many of them at once, but what I do... Go ahead.
You do use Instagram and Facebook to learn languages.
Yes.
Right? You used it. So you seem to like it, right? Because this is something that nowadays people, Brazilians, many of them, they complain a lot about social media and they avoid them. Both of them, and YouTube too. But what I say is that there is, if you use it in a certain way, you can profit from it actually, right? Instead of being instead of being a waste of time.
Right.
You can use it to learn. That's what you do. Your account on Instagram is focused on language learning, right?
Occasionally I'll post something more personal. Like today I was talking about how cold it is outside today. But
that's right. How cold is it again? I didn't believe that.
Okay, so at one point today I think I woke up and saw that it was maybe -7 Fahrenheit, which I looked it up. That's like -21 Celsius.
Oh my God.
Last I checked, it was like 6 degrees, which is about I forget what it was.
Okay. Yeah, it's very cold.
Yeah. -14 Celsius.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, but because I do the same. I have another account for, if I want to post something more personal, I put it there. But I don't even go there anymore. It's just the Polyglot Erika account and this one here. And because that's how I use my time. I go back and forth. And on Facebook, I'm like you. I'm part of many Facebook groups. And I don't see other people's feed. I don't see the other people's posts. Like the people who follow me and I follow back. I don't see them. It's just on my feed. I only see what's new in these groups that are related to language learning. So it helps me with my focus, right? I think. Don't you think it helps us focus?
I think so, and I think I wouldn't know about drops if I weren't on Instagram. I wouldn't know about like different challenges. I wouldn't know about Lang Jam. Like there are so many things. If I weren't part of, I say Langstagram. If I weren't part of Langstagram,
that's okay.
I would know so many things that I wouldn't know about if I weren't on Instagram for language learning. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but like on Duolingo, they'll jab at people who are on social media, and I'm like, I don't like that one, Duolingo. Like, you don't realize there's this whole community of people who are just sharing resources. So
that's right. Yeah, I love it for the same reason. It's interesting because what I've been saying lately is that my motivation, this is something that students say all the time, that the motivation decreases and at some point they lose interest in learning the language. In my case, I feel it's increasing all the time. In this 10-month period, I don't remember being tired, having gotten tired of Polish, you know, like, oh, I can't stand Polish anymore, it's too much, let me take a break, or, you know, or frustrated or anxious or anything like that. I think it's because you see what other people are doing, and you can see that it's natural to feel a certain way, right? The ups and downs that everybody goes through, it's not just wonderful all the time. We get tired. Yeah, I felt frustrated, but I realized that when I feel like more, I feel that things are hard for me when I'm learning Polish, it's because I'm tired. It's basically because I'm tired, and then I need to rest. And then after a few hours, it's I'm renewed and everything. I'm ready to learn more. So I think it's easier to see, you know, these cycles that we go through, because some people who are not used to learn languages, they have an ideal, you know, situation in their heads, and they think it works in a certain way. It's like a line, but it's like straightforward, and there are no problems, and you know, just go straight, and then there is an end to that. You learn English, and then there is an end to that. And it's not like that. So people feel anxious, I think, because of their expectations, right? So I don't know. How do you manage that? Do you feel that way sometimes, anxious? What kind of expectations do you have? You know, so.
One of the reasons I like to look at so many different languages at once is that when I get like kind of fed up with one of them, or if I am just like frustrated, I feel like it's better for me to just take a step back for a couple days, and I'll just look at a different language. So
okay.
like if I feel like I'm not getting anywhere with German for a while, maybe I'll look at French for a while instead. I did have I had like a month-long free trial of Frontastic, and I did that like every day, but it was so much information that it was exhausting. So at the end of that month, I was saying, no, I'm not looking at French again for a while, and I just set it aside so I couldn't look at French for a while.
Yeah.
It's because I was like so overwhelmed by it.
Okay.
We were talking about being tired, and I just wanted to share this, but because I saw something on Tumblr yesterday that said that there are two kinds of tired, one where you need sleep and one where you need cheese. And I thought that was a really good quote. That's
cool. Yeah.
Very relatable. So I think sometimes when you're tired of a language, you just need some peace from it.
Yeah. I think this is what I wanted to say before, that in this period I never got tired of Polish. It's not the language, it's need of sleep and need of, because I practice today. I practice for around 1.5 hours, sometimes 2 hours. I think it's a lot for me because I do many other things, and I get tired. I get really tired. I need to get some sleep, and the next day I feel fine, and I can go back to it. You know, another thing is being able to study every day, to practice every day, right? Because what I feel with students is that, and they feel it too, when they practice every day, they kind of gather momentum, right? That compound something that, I don't know, things are not so hard. It's not that things they get easier, but they don't get so hard. Whereas when a student takes a break, like studies 5 minutes per week, things get really hard because we tend to forget things, right? It's lack of practice. So yeah, you're saying that you tend to study every day or most days, right? That's what most people do. And I think we can get better results by doing that. And then I think in the end, it's like managing our energy also, right? Managing that and realizing when we're tired and trying to balance that. I think that can be something that can help us deal with motivation, right? Okay, then Shamed, I don't know if he follows you, he says, I'm incredibly guilty of trying to mimic a Japanese accent as closely as possible when I'm speaking it. Some people don't feel comfortable, right, mimicking the accent.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are afraid to mimic accents, and I know I am with German, but mostly just because I feel like I don't listen enough. I don't spend enough time listening. I spend too much time like reading. But yeah, I think that there is some fear of trying too hard maybe and then just sounding silly, because I think that's whenever I've spoken German with a native speaker, I'm afraid I'm going to try too hard and that they're just going to look at me like, you're trying too hard. Like,
yeah, but it's fine. There is a teacher here, Aida, English with Aida. She speaks Spanish, and she's saying, talk with me for Spanish practice. She's offering you some help. You can talk to her later.
I'll have to.
And then Dan is talking about Duolingo. I think Duolingo is so funny because a lot of people say, oh, I don't like Duolingo, I don't like Duolingo. But in the end, they use it. How do you feel about Duolingo? I try to use it every day because of my streak. I don't like breaking the streak.
I've got like a 300-day streak right now, so I don't.
Oh my god! Yeah, and you use it a lot. Yes.
Yeah,
that's good.
I just try to get in, my 5 minutes a day. So I do use it. I like it as a refresher. Maybe not necessarily. I mean, it's okay for if you're just starting out. And it's okay, so like for German, I'm using it to review vocab in context, in the context of things. And that's what I like about it. One thing, and this might not fully answer your question, this might be a side note. One thing I like to do is that I like to use different apps for different languages. So right now I'm using Duolingo for German. I'm using Drops and Drops, Memrise, and Mango. I'm using all three of those for Icelandic. And I'm using Mondly for Spanish. And then French is kind of just floating out there, whatever I can find for French, like occasionally where I'll like actually read something. And the reason I like to use different apps for different languages is so I don't get them confused. Because each app has its own aesthetic, it has its own art, it has its own colors you're going to associate with that app. So if I think about German, I'm thinking about certain colors or the way Duolingo looks. And if I'm thinking about Icelandic, I might think of the way Drops looks or whatever graphics, I don't want to use, I'm afraid to use Drops for more than one language because I'm afraid that I'll get the languages confused. So that's one thing I like to do, is I like to maybe find an app that is good for the level I'm at in that language, and then use that app for that language. That way I associate the aesthetic or the art or the colors with a certain language. So
this is a tip.
Mixed.
Yeah, a tip for people, for people who are practicing many languages, right? Around the same time. Luciana is asking, how can I say signo in English? Signo is sign, a zodiac sign, right? Say, May her birthday is June. May her birthday is June.
Is it like late May or early June? Because then that would be, I'm in Aries, so I'm April, and Taurus is end of April. Gemini, that would be Gemini.
Gemini.
Would be early, like late May like May 21st to June 21st, roughly.
Yeah, I think so. There you go. People who are born in June like to do many tasks at the same time. So, are you a multitasker?
Me?
Do you like to multitask?
Yes.
Yeah, you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess that's yes, I like to multitask.
Multitask.
Let me see if I can show you. I've got all of my screens open here.
Oh, okay. Oh my God. No, yeah, but I'm a bit like you on the computer. Yes, that's what I do too.
Yes, I have so many screens open on my computer, so I'm constantly like flipping between them. And I'm like that at work too. I'll have about 5 different projects sitting on my desk, and I go, okay, I need to finish this, I need to write this up, I need to post this to social media, and I'll start each of them, and then whatever I look at next is just like, or
nice.
I'll have to make phone calls, and so I'll be on the phone with one person while writing up something else. Like, my focus is in 12 places at once.
Yeah, that's good. Then saying, yeah, Duolingo has only been helping me to a point, but my best friend is almost fluent in Japanese, so I use him more for learning. Yeah, you use your friend for learning, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's adapting as you progress, right? Because I think about this all the time, what's happening all the time. And sometimes I feel that the resource is not challenging enough. And I try to find something else that can help me more. But on the other hand, sometimes I feel tired, but I want to keep studying, so I choose something that is easier, like I do a review. And by the way, Debbie, you use a notebook too. I don't know now, but you used to take lots of pictures of your notebook, right? You wrote
lately. It's right here. I still have it. So it's still here.
There you
go. This page is I'm working on German vocab frequency list, where you write down like the 100 or 200 most frequently used words, and if you know all those words, then you can probably get by a little bit.
Good.
So I've been doing a frequency list.
But is it English, German and English? One column in German, one in... How do you do that?
So I put everything into the notebook, whatever, like, so here's Spanish, here's French, there's a lot of French in this one.
So you don't use different notebooks for different languages, right?
I don't, but when I fill the notebook, I transfer everything over, and I swagger jacked, I stole this idea, I like to say swagger jacked. I stole this idea from somebody I saw on Instagram. It's Polyglottis. I don't.
Okay, Polyglottis. Okay, yeah. Nick. Yeah.
I don't know what.
Is it him? No, I don't know. No, it's somebody else.
Nikki. I think she's French. Anyway, I haven't seen her on Instagram in a while. Anyway, once I have everything in there, I will pull the pages out of the notebook and then separate it into.
Okay.
Binder. So here's all my German
okay, I see.
And then here's all my French notes and Spanish.
Okay.
And Icelandic, and then at the back here, I have when I did the Instagram language challenge, and then I had some poetry back here that I translated into different languages. So
okay, nice.
Different things back here, miscellaneous and.
Oh, that's very organized. And well, let me just answer Carlos. Carlos, hello. So Debbie, this is Debbie. She's American. I've been, known her for a while now on Instagram, but this is the first time we talk. But we're always we're in contact, in touch there. Edson is asking, what do you think about the Brazilian accent?
I think it's beautiful.
Have you thought about learning Portuguese?
I have.
Is it in your list?
It's somewhere after Polish. Somewhere after Polish.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think I would probably rather learn Portuguese than Spanish, but living in the U.S., Spanish is probably more useful. But yeah, I would love to learn Portuguese. I watched 3% on Netflix, and I was just, it's so beautiful.
What about Spanish? So yeah, a lot of people now in the U.S. speak Spanish. Do you bump into people who speak Spanish in the street or no? Where do you live? Like, is it something, do you see people speaking Spanish in some like places, the supermarket or at a cafe, or no? It's not like that.
At work, actually, I see a few, especially I think Saturday nights. Sometimes we get some families in where the child, they come in with their kids, and the kid has to translate for their parent at the ticket window.
Okay.
There was one party, there was a big private party we had a few months ago where everyone spoke Spanish, and I don't remember who was working the party with me. I think it was somebody who did know some Spanish, but both of us were like scared to say anything. We didn't know. I was like, I don't want to say like something in Spanish, and then they think that I am better than I am at it, and I'll just stare at them.
Yeah. It can be weird to start speaking the language. This is something also that students, they're always asking, what can I do? I cannot speak. You cannot speak English. I cannot say anything. And they have been learning for a long time, and they feel shy. They feel, and then I tell everybody to record themselves because that's what I do, and it has been working for me. You like to record yourself too, right? This is something that you do in your stories, practicing. At least, I don't know nowadays, but how do you feel recording yourself speaking in the beginning? Do you remember? How old actually is your Instagram account, this LINGUALIBRI account?
It just turned 1 year old like 3 days ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. So that was about the time EA started her account, and
started about 2 days apart, and I didn't know that, and so she posted hers, and I went, oh no, I just missed mine. I didn't think about it. I had to make a post, and
I don't know if I will remember about the day when I started. I know when was it? The end of March. I don't know if I will remember to make a post, but it's very nice. Yeah, so do you remember did you record yourself? Did you used to record yourself before recording for the account? Were you used to recording yourself speaking another language before?
Not really. On occasion, I have relatives that live in Germany. My grandma was from Germany, and she has family members that are still over there. And occasionally I've talked to them in German, like this on, I think it was a Facebook video chat or something. But that was probably the only time I could hear, I could hear feedback or something, and I could hear myself. But I really didn't used to record myself. There were a lot of things that I picked up after the Women in Language Conference in March. And so that
last year. Yeah.
More.
Oh, so that's what they said, that we should, that's a good tip, to record ourselves more. But some people, they feel shy, right? But you decided to give it a try, and you did it, you have been doing it regularly. But a lot of people, they feel shy. They don't like to record themselves. How do you feel it helps you? What kind of benefits does it bring you?
Well, it gives people the option to correct me. So if I get corrections, that can only be a good thing. And then I get to hear how I sound. It gives me a reason to look up new vocabulary. Especially like when I was talking about my car. I remember I was talking about my car one time, and I had to look up a bunch of vocab before I recorded something. And then I found reasons to use that vocab and just talk about what's going on today, kind of thing. And I think one of the reasons I'm okay talking about recording myself on Instagram, and this sounds bad maybe, but I don't see you guys every day in real life. I talk to you guys all the time, or I'll message, you know, so many people on Instagram, but it's not who I'm working with. You know,
I see what you say.
Yeah.
Yes. I understand.
So
yeah.
You can be you can be a different person online than you are in real life, and I try to be roughly the same person.
I understand.
But I think I'm a lot more comfortable trying things online first, and then maybe try to incorporate them into my...
But people, you know, coworkers, family, they don't follow you in this account, because this is the problem. Some people, one of my students, she's, I think, the only one who has a public account on Instagram, because I've been telling my students to do this, to create a specific account for language learning, and her account is public. And I don't know what, there was a change at some point. I think it was private, and then she made it public, and then she felt very, she felt shy because people at work started following her, and she was recording videos, you know, so she thought, oh my God, this is so weird. she felt like that. Now she's used to it. She got used to it. But yes, people, they prefer to avoid, right? People they know watching the videos and things like that. I mean,
I have some like very close friends and family, or like my sister follows this account, Josh follows this account, a couple of my good friends do. Actually, the person who was commenting about Japanese is somebody I know from real life. It's hi Mark. And then and there's one girl, well, the girl I mentioned who talks to me in German at work sometimes. I think I told her she could follow my language account, not my personal one, but my language account, which I tend to use for more personal things than my actual personal account. So there are some people that I see in daily life, but that do follow this account, but most of them are not dedicated language learners, or if they do learn language, it's a different language, so I'm less conscious about it, because, well, maybe they don't know what I'm saying in German, or if they do, you know, it's they don't care.
Yeah, but yeah, I see. Yeah. Let's see. Then is saying, I've run into so many Spanish speakers in Chicago. Spanish and Polish are the two big languages I keep running into up here. Yeah, there are many Polish people there in Chicago, right? Yeah. Is there a community?
Yeah. My dad used to live up by Chicago, and his dad was from Poland. So, and I still have Polish relatives in Chicago.
Oh yeah, that's right. You have a connection. Yeah.
I can't say much in
Polish. Sorry?
I can't say very much in Polish, though.
You were practicing a little bit last year, right? So, yeah, and I like the language. I will take a break after March. From April on, I want to do this, because I'm, you know, this has been so beneficial, being in this community here on Instagram. I've learned so much in such a short time. I want to test that on my German, because I have a real problem with German pronunciation. It's really, really hard for me. Polish, not as much. People can understand what I say, and I'm fine. But German, I don't think people can understand what I'm saying. This is a problem with my pronunciation, not even my accent, my pronunciation. So I want to give it a try.
I had a question for you about Polish.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm like completely off here, but the first time I heard Portuguese, I thought it sounded kind of like Polish, or like it kind of sounded just because of certain sounds that are in Portuguese. And I was wondering, are there a lot of sounds that are shared between the two languages, or are there like like what sounds are in Polish that Portuguese doesn't have?
Yeah, I noticed that in the beginning, what I heard was a lot of here, no, but a lot of sh, and we have that in Portuguese, like chave, sh, and variations. We don't have so many variations in Portuguese. In Polish, there are more, but variations of the sibilant sounds. And the vowels, we use lots of vowels in Portuguese. It's funny because in Polish, I don't know if they have as many diphthongs as we do. We have a lot of them, but there are many words with a lot of consonants too, with fewer vowels. Now, as for the intonation, the prosody, it is a little different, but it's not hard to get used to. Yeah, I don't know. In terms of the sounds, it didn't strike me as different as German.
Okay.
You know, German is a language that I hear and I feel it's like a little bit of staccato, like that. There's some, I don't know, you stop the sound in your throat or something like that. Polish, no, Polish, the sounds are more connected. They're very mild, and so it didn't, I don't know if you can say I feel more comfortable because of that. This will be a challenge for me to try to practice my German pronunciation. But the thing is, the words are completely different. The Polish words are completely different. I got really, in the beginning I felt that I would never learn this language ever. How? Because in the beginning, when I looked at a text, I saw a lot of letters, a soup of letters. I couldn't distinguish the words. So, like your vision is blurred. My vision was blurred. I couldn't distinguish the words because nothing resembled Portuguese in terms of the spelling. And then there were the sounds. In the beginning, I tried to focus more on pronunciation and I tried to learn the vocabulary as I practiced pronunciation. And that was good because my pronunciation now is good, it's fine. Now I only needed to learn the grammar, which is crazy. But it's not impossible. So the feeling that I had in the beginning that it was an impossible language is not like, I don't feel that way anymore. So now I can, it's so cool, this feeling, when you start to recognize the words and to see the difference between, because there are some, for example, the verbs. There are two types of verbs. There are the perfective and imperfective. So the same, like for the same meaning, they have two different forms of verbs. And sometimes they have a lot of consonants and Y, the letter Y, and Z and S, and ta-na-na, and they look very similar, the two forms. This still confuses me when I'm learning the two different forms, perfective and imperfective, of the same verb. This confuses me a lot. But there are many words, other words, especially the everyday words, that now I can see them more clearly. And, simpler sentences are now easier for me to, I don't need to use a dictionary anymore. This is really great. How many languages are you able to talk, Debbie? This is someone who has just arrived.
I mean, speaking, I can get by in German. If you go really slow in French, maybe, I can read French better than I can speak it. And then I'm at a pretty base level with Spanish and Icelandic. I can throw out a few words.
Do you have any tips for someone? Oh, we have 30 seconds now. For people who want to find a language partner, do you have a quick tip for that?
I would check Facebook groups.
Situation.
Yes. And then I found a couple through people who were wanting to take like the English TOEFL exam.
Okay. The time is short. Thank you so much, Debbie. We have just a few seconds. Thank you so much. Let's do this again.